It's always the bloody same schedule. Get up, take a shower long enough to clear the nightmares, but too short to allow the mind to ponder. Eat something, although most often this something consists of a protein bar or something similar, just enough to keep the body alive. Get the job done, bring results, and get the money for the contract. And if I'm lucky and the pay is good, I don't have to kill someone the next day. Since I have to be sober when working, I appreciate my days off, even if I don't enjoy them. I always have some whiskey in my blood, and if my life wouldn't depend on it, I might even drink before pulling the trigger. But suicidal as I am, I still cling to my pathetic life. There are times I get the notion of whiskey having replaced the blood in my veins completely, but enough of my self-loathing. It's not the purpose of this letter. It is a letter telling you that you are safe, as I had promised to myself when we last met. The phone will be destroyed. I don't want them to fight you. You deserve a good life, an honest life. Don't look for me. I will give them the culprit they are searching for. John sighed and stopped writing, staring at the ceiling as he struggled to find the right words that would be his last. He had been an assassin for nearly 20 years and had become the murderer of dozens of people. And although he saw their faces every night, he had lost count of the corpses in his basement. The addressed person in the SMS was a youth who had been forced into a killer's life, a choice that had been taken from him by fate. Leaning back in the chair of his small apartment, John relived his memories. They had met on the job. The contractor had hired 2 hitmen because the task demanded someone having the main killer's back. To be honest, the senior didn't care much for a new member of the business. In fact, he would have liked for the young man to just disappear instead of possibly exposing them both with his clumsiness. But the newcomer had skills, and when his first kill gave him serious troubles, the older man couldn't help but feel for him. He himself had never given it much thought. It was a job, paid. Upon finishing their work, John had invited the youngster to a drink. Starting out as a meeting on occasion, it soon became a habit to spend time together, either to talk or just enjoy each other's company. Perhaps it was John's mentality to not urge the young man to trust him, but after time the trust came, and he at least revealed his real name to be Samuel. John did indeed, for the first time in his life, enjoy someone else's company, causing him often to wonder if that's what it felt like to have a friend or even family, because Sam seemed to see a father in him, especially when asking for advice. So it came one day that both of them met in the usual bar. John couldn't help but notice the eyes of someone tormented by the dead and ordered 2 drinks. "Something troubling you?" he asked when Samuel took the glass and downed the whiskey in one go. Giving John a wry smile, he remained silent. The older man knew what the problem was. He also knew that there was no cure. Doctors are tormented by the knowledge of their fate, by even the slightest symptoms. Engineers always look for faults in structure, and those killing people tend to drown their soul with the aim to silence the dead. "I never told you," he started reluctantly, "how I ended up here." John knew his friend didn't mean the bar, but rather his present employment. "You don't have to," John replied with the usual patience. "But I do. You see, my father was involved with certain people, and when bankruptcy struck, he still owed them." John knew all too well what happened to people who did not meet their end of the bargain. "My mother and I, we ended up on the street. I don't know why, but they approached me one day." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I want you to understand." John was still puzzled about what Sam was hinting at. "I have made quite a fortune. I want out, but my employer has other interests. I'm one of his most successful ones." After a long silence, he looked John straight into the face. "I need your help to kill him." Being long enough in the business, John knew Sam's employer. He was a man no sound individual would mess with, and killing him would delay the persecution but not avoid it. "You know there's no getting away from him forever, and he will use everything against you." "I'm taking my chances. I know you have contacts that provide new identities. I am under almost constant supervision since my request. I need you to do this for me." "Samuel, they have camps. They have security, and if anything happens, you are one of the first on the list of culprits." John's heart broke when he saw the hope fade from the young man's eyes. Samuel was like a son to him, and like every father, John wanted to protect him. He didn't have anything to lose after all. His siblings had turned their back on him. His parents had died, believing him to be a failure. But his friend had all this waiting for him. He could still have a family, have a shot at living. "I will send you what you need. Don't," John looked him sternly in the eyes, "don't go on a killing spree on your own." Samuel had done as he was told, yet the call to arms never came. Instead, John had sent him the needed documents to start a new life, together with a few grand and a letter telling him to get out. John hoped his friend would follow the instructions. He had gone straight to Sam's boss and killed everyone in the building. Knife, bullets, silent strangulation, it hadn't mattered to him. He partly even enjoyed killing these kinds of people. The knowledge had made him realize how truly doomed his soul was. John cursed when he made a quick movement, causing him to flinch from the paining wounds he had received. He had to hurry. The people looking for him would come soon, and they would only come for him. John had made sure of that by letting the security camps observe him from different angles. With a bit of luck, they would even forget about Sam with that pile of corpses. To make finding him even more difficult, John had deleted any files on him he could find. Unable to write more, he sent a message and crushed the phone beneath his boots heel. Making sure the phone's utter destruction, he started to down one glass after another. It was very fine stuff, worthy of being his last bottle before he went to hell. He doubted that Lucifer would grant him some whiskey between the torture. The absurdness of the thought made him chuckle. It was the middle of the night when the door to his apartment swung silently open. Of course, John hadn't gone to sleep. He had made himself comfortable on the ground, leaning against the wall with the whiskey next to him and his favorite rock band keeping him company. "Just in time, boys," he yelled towards the man invading his home. "I was afraid you wouldn't come." Not answering his command, two men entered the room, pointing their guns at him. John only gave them a smile and raised his glass. "Make it quick, will ye? The devil doesn't like to be kept waiting."